Hey there everybody, this is Sandra Lett and I am going to experiment today with Floetrol, acrylic paint, and I picked this up, Martha Stewart. I didn't realize it was Decoupage, but it's durable gloss finish, so it's probably like a gloss varnish. So I wanted to show you the proportions. Here's a smaller cup, and I'm going to do the first section will be Floetrol, and then the next section will be this gloss varnish, and then up here the third section would be the paint. And I've got colors mixed. I mixed a pink. I use different brands here. This is the Apple Barrel, and I actually added a little white to soften it. Just a cheap craft paint, navy blue, and I added a little bit of white and black to tone it down. It's more like a denim color. A bright yellow, just a cheap craft paint. I don't have the bottle because I mixed this color up, but it was a light lavender orchid color, and I added a little more purple to make it a little deeper, but it's basically a lavender color. Another cheap craft paint, it's called Ocean Breeze. So that's mixture here. This is a Deco Art Americana Sour Apple. Mixed up. Deco Art Baby Blue, so it's like a soft blue. This is another one I mixed a color up. It was just cheap craft paint, red, and I added a little bit of blue and maybe brown to make it just a little deeper, so it's kind of like a ruby red or maroon color. So I'm going to move these out of the way. I also have, I used the end of a tube of Liquitex Basics. This is a metallic gold, very thick. This is strictly out of the tube with Floetrol and water, and I had to add a lot of water because it comes out of the tube really thick and clumpy, and you really have to mix this one good. So that's metallic gold. I had me a big cup of white, and this is Artist Loft Flow Acrylic mixed with Floetrol and water. I did not put the varnish in the white. And I do have a bottle of black pre-mixed, the Artist Loft Flow Acrylic in black mixed with Floetrol and a little bit of water, but nothing else in that. So, like I said, this was just a clear varnish gloss. So, Floetrol is what I use. Flood brand, and it's for latex based paints. Do not pick up the one that's for oil based because that won't work. This is made to go with acrylic paints, and I've put some in a squirt bottle just to make it easier. So I'm going to show you, I've got this cup marked. I'm just going to show you how to mix up my final color. I'm going to mix a brown. So I'm going to squirt the Floetrol in there. It's got kind of a small nozzle and the Floetrol is thick. So I'm going to take that off and just pour. Okay. This is just easier when you need smaller batches to put it in a squeeze bottle. Then the gloss varnish. Which looks white, but it'll be clear. So I'm going to mix that just a little bit. And then I'm going to put brown. This is Anita's. It's from Hobby Lobby. Brown, earth brown. So I'm going to put that color in up to my top mark. So you always mix your medium with your paint first before you add any water. You want to get the medium, like Floetrol and the varnish and whatever, to bind with your acrylic paint first. You don't want to add the water until this is mixed up really well. Make sure you scrape your sides of your cup and get all the varnish and Floetrol, everything, all blended in real well. And it's actually pouring off the stick pretty well, but I want it a little wetter, so I've got some water here. And I'm going to stir this pretty well. So this is not a dark brown, it's kind of a reddish brown. It's more like a sienna, this brown from this bottle is. And see, it's not totally pouring off the stick, it's just a slow. Sometimes it is and sometimes it's slow. So I'm going to add a little bit more water. I'm not painting on canvases today. I have a project in mind. I'm going to paint on some thin plastic. And the reason being is I'm going to do a little bit of artwork on top of the pours once the pour is dry. And I want to do a horse silhouette. And it's going to be matted and framed as gifts for some friends. So I'm going to do it on a lightweight plastic, because if you do it on paper, your paper might curl up and things like that. So now it's pouring off the stick better. I'm going to add just a little bit more. You want it nice and fluid. Now it's pouring off the stick in a stream. And there's a clump. I got to get that out of there. Okay. Just a hint more. All right. And then some people use WD-40 or silicone spray. I have treadmill lubricant. It's 100% silicone. It's liquid, so it's easier to control by just putting drops in. And some people spray their spray into a bottle, so then they have it in a liquid form, but I just bought it right off of Amazon like this. So I'm not going to add it in the white, but all the colors I'm going to add a little drop or two, stir a few times in all my colors. They say that if you just stir a little bit, you get bigger cells, and if you stir a lot, you'll get smaller cells. So I'm trying not to stir too much. So these few drops I'm adding to all the colors, a few twirls with the paint with the stick. And then we're good on all the colors. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the metallic gold. I'm going to go ahead and throw the silicone in though. It is that in the tube, it's more of an artist grade quality paint, and it's a lot thicker, so you really have to keep adding water to it. Okay. So, you know, typically you would be doing it on a canvas or something like that. This is a pour I did that I didn't like, and so it's a canvas board, and I'm using it to put a clear protector sheet. I bought these at an office supply store. You could get them at Walmart probably, or anywhere. They're 2 pieces, and I cut them in half on the edges, and so then you have 2 pieces, but it is thin plastic. I'm going to do my pour on the plastic and then lay it flat to dry, and then I am going to probably either paint a horse silhouette or something like that for my project. And whatever I don't use, I can use as skins for jewelry. So that is my thought process on that. But because it's plastic, it's not going to curl up or do anything funny like paper would, or foam core board or something like that. So that's why I chose plastic. And then I have the top of a full baking pan, the plastic disposable ones. That's to catch my dripping paint. You can use, you know, pretty much anything to do that. Okay. And then I don't torch. I have a heat gun. Mine is a Drill Master. I got it, I think, at Northern Tools. You can get a heat gun at any hardware store like Lowe's or Home Depot, or where you can order it online, even have it shipped to your house. That is what I use to heat, to bring cells out instead of a butane torch or a thing that they use at restaurants to brown meringue and do things like that. So here's my first sheet of plastic. Then I have little bathroom cups from the dollar store, and that's what I'm going to do my dirty pours in this. It's not going to take a lot of paint for this piece of plastic, and I hope you can see it. It's a little bit bigger than a 8x10, and that way I can cut it down to an 8x10 or a 5x7 even. So I have push pins in this canvas board just to give me a little leverage so I can get my fingers under it to pick it up and tilt it and that kind of thing, so it's not flat on the table. It's nice to have some gloves just for messy paint. So starting with some white. Let's see, I'm going to do this nice, pretty, bright turquoise. Navy blue. Do the baby blue. A little purple. Green. Whoops. I'm going to end again with the pretty bright turquoise. And the whites kind of continue to come up to the top, so I'm not going to add any more. And this is like way too much for this piece of plastic, so I have plenty of paint here. I'm going to do one little thing. That's it. I'm not going to do a lot of stirring. Actually, I'm going to leave some in my cup. Put it on low and okay. Basically just getting it to all the edges. Okay. So there's my first sheet. All right. Here's the second sheet. I don't think I'm gonna do white just yet, if I do any. Start with red. Yellow. Navy blue. Green. Bit of the turquoise. See what happens with that. Pretty in the cup. And see, I like those big cells already. I like that red and yellow area there. I'm trying to get some more of that back. So typically I use Floetrol and paint only, and this I have the gloss varnish in, and I'm not seeing anything really super great about having the varnish as a gloss medium in there with it. I'm not crazy about the cells. They're not, I don't know. But there's that one, and I like this area right here. I'm going to start with the same color combination, so I'm going to put a little white in it this time. Yellow. Red. White again. Blue. Turquoise. A little green. I'm going to put a drop or two of silicone on top. So I'm basically using this canvas board as my solid surface to hold this piece of plastic, because otherwise I couldn't pick this piece of plastic up. It would be obviously, dipping down in the middle from the weight of the paint. You wouldn't be able to hold it to do, your tilting and things. So here's this one. Okay. Start this one with a little white. I'm going to put like a dot of black, just a little bit. Brown. Pink. The maroon color. The navy. Pale blue. little metallic gold there. I'm not going to swish this one. This is really interesting. And you notice the heat gun does not make the plastic curl up. You know, it's not, if you don't get it too close, it's not gonna melt something. It's not that powerful. So there's, I like this stuff here with the light blue coming in there. And the pinks. I may do another one similar to this. I'm trying to get a particular kind of color palette.